Provincial Police Commanders to head security operations. Groundbreaking for a new hospital for Central Province. BSP Honiara staff to be redeployed. Good evening and welcome. This is Monday's news. I'm Kilawani. Provincial Police Commanders will be in charge of the overall deployment of security forces for the 2022 national general elections. This means the PNGDF and Correctional Service personnel deployed for election duties will report directly to the PPC despite their ranks within the Army or the Correctional Service. This was highlighted on day one of the Joint Forces Security Conference held in Port Moresby today. The gathering of senior police officers, representatives from the PNG Defence Force, Correctional Service and Australian Federal Police signals the planning phase for the nationwide election security. The 2022 national election is predicted to be a challenging task for the Joint Services Task Force, a massive security exercise that will be conducted by the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary with support from the PNG Defence Force, the Correctional Service and the Australian Federal Police. The Joint Forces Conference, which will conclude this Friday, looks at the scope of the security operations in three different phases. Phase 1, prenatal operation. Phase 2, natal operation proper, and Phase 3, post-natal operation.
Election is very important, and we are running a little bit late, but the onus is on you. As we know that this is not an issue. So we'll be expecting you to run the show. So this is just a framework, just to give you a guideline so that you can do your operation orders according to your situation on the ground where you come from.
The 2022 national elections will proceed as scheduled with the issuing of writs set for the 14th of April 2022. Nomination closes on the 21st of April 2022. Polling to start from the 11th to the 14th of June 2022. Counting will follow and the return of writs will be on the 15th of July 2022. In today's discussions, PPCs asked questions of concern regarding election operations within their provinces. The police boss in Morobe was concerned on when election dialogue will kick off in his province.
PNG Electoral Commissioner, one thing that I've realized in Morobe is that we have not had any provincial steering committee meetings yet. Could that be speeded up so that we know and we know exactly where to go and what to do and the resources that are required to go in there?
With just 5 months away before the election, an electoral commission admits they are yet to complete the common roll update.
What we're doing is we are printing the previous roll. We term it as a walking roll, base walking roll. Send it to the ward, they check the dates, the duplicates, everything else, and then enroll those who need to enroll. But we are limiting on the enrollment forms based on the growth level, estimated growth level of a human being, depending from how many years from the last election to today. So we are allowing 15% to all the council wards. So we're taking a different approach, but time is catching us. So, but the role is going to be done. There was a lot of mess, especially in the islands, we faced last time, in the last 2017. So we reverted back to 2012 role, which helped us much in that area. So we are pretty much aware of those situations, and we now using that role to now go and start doing verification properly. I wish we had enough time to do that.
A concern that was also raised by Manus Police Commander, Chief Inspector David Yapu.
People say we will not have common role, causing a disturbance, disruption,
at the polling places. If the funding is made available, can that common roll be rolled out so that it's ready?
While in the Highlands region, suggestions were put forward on the possibility of centralizing polling venues.
Have you put some thoughts around centralizing polling locations? Our manpower may not be enough to sufficiently cater for all the polling places. I think about 300 or 6,000 plus wards. But if we can centralize some of them.
600 million kina has been budgeted for the national elections, an additional 322 million kina from what was allocated in the 2017 national elections. Thekla Jogo, National EMTV News.
The election direction to LLG presidents and ward councils to tender their resignation if they wish to contest the 2022 national general elections has been deemed illegal. The ruling was handed down by the Waigani National Court last week. Many LLG presidents took the matter to court after a circular sent to them dated 10th of September, which called for their resignation. Vasinata Yama reports from Mount Hagen.
One of the longest-serving councillor and president of Hagen Rural LLG, Wairapa, has taken Minister Pila Niningi's circular direction to court for interpretation. The National Court then ruled that Minister Niningi's direction concerns the holders of elective offices and is in breach of Section 50, subsection C and D of the Constitution and was unlawful. Section 50 talks about the right to vote and stand for public office.
If we want to become a real government and leader for the people, it all has to start from the village. As a ward councillor and the president of the Mount Hagen Rural Local Government, I can do some changes for my province and my people. Because I'm always with the people. I know what the people like. And I'm always there with the people 24 hours.
Niningi's lawyer failed to present a new bill or act of parliament in court to support the minister's direction for councillors and presidents to resign and stand for election. The court declared that the plaintiffs, which other LLG presidents who have applied for the same court hearing, will remain as presidents and contest the 2022 national general elections subject to them meeting the qualifications.
On the 20th of August, has affected me as well. To become a member of parliament is a constitutional office and constitutional rights that anybody can become a member.
Mr. Rapa said the circular has already caused damages, with many ward councillors and LLG presidents resigning to contest the elections next year. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The PNG Defence Force barracks at Igam in Ley has been struggling with accommodation for members over the years. And now, with a growing workforce as soldier recruitment continues, Commander of the Engineer Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel John Wani, said the need for better accommodation for members is crucial. For the battalion, this will be addressed with a 100-man dormitory to be built through the Defence Force Cooperation Program in partnership with Honeybrooke.
This groundbreaking ceremony held on Friday signifies the start of the 100-men block project, which will be built for the Engineer Battalion at the PNGDF Igam Barracks in Ley. Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel John Wani said this will address the issues of accommodation faced by soldiers at the barracks.
Right now, as we speak, we accommodated like 2 or 3 to a room, and then now we're working on the 100-man block, so that should fit in everybody. Because now the Defence Force wants to increase manpower strength, but when they come in, we have no accommodation for them.
PNGDF's Director of Engineers, Lieutenant Colonel John Gires, said the issues with accommodation is faced at other military bases as well. He said it would cost over 500 million kina to maintain rundown accommodation nationwide.
We started off on maintenance program with a public infrastructure program of the government under national planning, and also coming on board is the Australian Defence Cooperation Program that has helped us to refurbish some of our rundown facilities, especially the single quarters.
The 100-man block at Igam is funded through the Defence Cooperation Program and will be built in partnership with Hornibrook NGI Limited as the contractors. Under the Memorandum of Understanding signed on Friday, the battalion will be providing manpower for the project. This will be part of the engineers' on-the-job training for them to be assessed and certified as skilled tradesmen.
So we are using the project to also qualify our tradesmen. So that's the capacity we lack for the last almost 20 years.
While this project will address accommodation issues, sappers will also be trained, building the capacity of the engineer battalion. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Chief Justice Sir Gibbs Salika has formally announced the passing of National and Supreme Court Judge Justice Danajo Koiget. The late Justice Koiget was the resident judge of Alotau and was attending to Supreme Court matters in Waigani at the time of his passing. Justice Koiget died in his hotel room on Saturday, 27th November 2021. Justice Koiget is amongst the few judges who passed away in a space of 12 months, while funeral announcements will be made in due course. The continuous water disruptions in most parts of the nation's capital are due to mechanical issues encountered at Mount Ariama plant, where the city's water clarifiers are situated. Water PNG Acting Managing Director and Chief Infrastructure Officer explained the cause at a media conference today. Water PNG today explained the cause of disruption to water supply throughout Port Moresby from the 27th, Saturday, through to today.
What happened over the last two days result from firstly a planned maintenance work. So on Saturday, certain parts of the city were without water, and that is because of we had planned to do a shutdown, partial shutdown of water supply to certain parts of the city. We gave 7 days notice. It was published. And so on Saturday, our team worked on fixing the gearbox bearing for one of the clarifiers. We have 3 clarifiers in the up at the Mount Ariama. The one that we did the maintenance on is the biggest of the 3. It supplies about 2/3 of the city water supply.
According to Pakop Kurua, Acting Managing Director for Water PNG, the initial water cut was a planned disruption. However, in the process of carrying out the maintenance, they encountered problems leading to the prolonged water supply disruption. Chief Infrastructure Officer Dr. Fifaya Matainaho elaborated on this mechanical problem.
According to what is normally done to repair the what occurred, and to make sure to bring back the clarifier. The clarifier is a big unit. It's a very huge tank. It's called a sweeper underneath. Okay, and it's a massive one, and also there are other things that's all connected to that to drive it. The motor at the top there, which is electrical motor. But anyway, everything was done, and then in the process of filling and bringing back into operation to operationalize the clarifier, and that's when it's kind of a sleeve that it covers, or it also covers the main shaft. But at the same time, we also drive other operational mechanical devices in the tank. So that is snapped the shaft, okay, which really in going to we went to inspect to the ATMD in some of us. It's kind of it wore out. Even if we had put back everything, It could snap any time later on in the future.
While these disruptions in the country's capital city are no new issues, Water PNG says getting the information to the public has been lacking.
The residents of Port Moresby and business houses, they understand that we can run into problems. But I think the one frustrating point is the messaging. And this is one area that under my administration, I want us to be providing timely message to the people, okay? When you don't provide them information and reasons why system is down or water is not running, it frustrates people, it frustrates business.
Aging and limited infrastructure capacity, another contributing factor.
Next year, we will be building another 100 MLD, million liters, clarifier, to provide that storage. So in the event that there is a outage like this, we can put off one and we still have a backup.
Water PNG has plans for increasing mechanical capacity come next year.
Water treatment plant was built, like Doctor was saying, about 25 years ago. And the capacity was to serve a certain population in the city. Over those 25 years, the city population has really grown. And what we are generating at the moment, the production level, is just going to the demand that we currently serve. We don't currently have redundancy, and that is why when there is a fault like what we just experienced, we don't have redundancy. We can't store water and supply when you put one system off, or one clarifier off. And that is a big challenge for us.
Meanwhile, Water PNG advises water supply should be restored by midnight tonight. You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after these messages. Welcome back to the news. After years of wait, the people of Central Province will finally have a provincial hospital. The hospital will be built on a 3-year program, beginning with a 500 million kina funding. A groundbreaking ceremony at Bautama today was officiated by Prime Minister James Marape, Central Governor Robert Agarobe, Health Minister Jelta Wong, and Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo.
Bautama is where the new Central Provincial Hospital will be built. This comes after years of planning by the Central Provincial Government and its health authority. The member for Kairukuhiri says politics has hindered this vital development.
I take this occasion to thank the Basil Marape government for finally ensuring that the Central Hospital project, which will be launched today and followed up with necessary funding to ensure it does materialize for betterment and benefit of people of Central Province as a whole.
50 hectares of land has been allocated to build the hospital. Central Governor Robert Agarobe described the occasion as an exciting time for his people. He says the new hospital will also include other plans.
Bautama is strategic as it is easily accessible from the 4 major provincial trunk routes and will enable my people to have access easily for their health services within the province. My government will ensure that the hospital will have the state-of-the-art medical equipment and the services provided will be second to none.
In his keynote address, Prime Minister James Marape says the hospital will be a modern facility for Central people. Under his government, a 3-year funding program will be the financial drive to construct the hospital. PM Marape says this is part of the government's plan to build better hospitals around the country.
But for Central and 5 other provinces, there will be front runners going forward for this year, next year, in as far as delivery to a better, new, modern hospital. And Central Province, we're doing the groundbreaking today, and we should support this year, support next year, and for the next 3 years, And this time in 2025, when we stand on the podium, there is a new hospital we could walk into and open a new hospital. And I bring to you our fullest government commitment. We stand in the face of election, but doesn't matter elections. Government approved programs, and the programs run into and crosses over into terms of parliament.
The hospital will cater for 300 beds and modern facilities. The health minister said the focus is now to ensure Central people access better and modern healthcare services at the doorstep.
And policies of ensuring that every province must have a provincial hospital. This is one of the first or the third that we're going into to ensure that we give back to our people what they really, really need. And this pandemic has shown it to us, as I said before. Our health services is shaky. Our health services was inadequate. This government is now ensuring that the people come first.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
A training center and cocoa nursery in the Mekeo area of Central Province was opened over the weekend by Karukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo. The training center will support cocoa farmers and expand cocoa planting in the local council ward. On the same occasion, Ima rice farmers were presented 20,000 kina by the Karukuhiri District Development Authority.
On Saturday, the local MP visited the Mekeo area. The occasion was the opening of a cocoa training center established by the locals. This training center will support farmers improve their cocoa know-how and harness cocoa production.
Have the privilege and honor to officially open this Mekeo Cocoa Cooperative Society Limited Training Center.
This center is built by members of the Mekeo Cocoa Cooperative Society. On the same occasion, Ima Rice Cooperative received a financial assistance of 20,000 kina. It's a support to embrace rice growing. For rice farmers, they want more support.
Mi amamas lo member kam gim lilik so lo mipla we embai wanemia gim interest lo mipla by continue lo planning rice na mipla minimo se mem this projects must come up one big project inside lo Mekeo not Mekeo so mipla can wanemia start anta lo this santin na inside lo future blend.
The Ima rice farmers started planting rice in 2020. Early this year, they started harvesting the crop.
So long as we produce mass volume, because in agriculture, you make more money if you are producing volumes. If you are producing less, then you earn less money, and it discourages you from keep attending to your plot.
The Ima rice farmers are also eyeing other cash crops if relevant support is provided.
Likewise, we need one tractor to plow the land. So we request the agriculture minister and government to assist us Ima rice with tractor.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Rubber farmers in North Fly district of Western Province are being advised that buying of rubber cap lumps for this year will stop on December 10, 2021. In a public notice issued on November 15th, the management team of North Fly Rubber Limited said they will not buy rubber after this date till the new year. Rubber farmers are advised to discontinue buying and selling of cap lumps after December 17th, as the factory will close for business and resume on January 3rd, 2022. The factory management team in Kiunga is urging rubber farmers to sell all their stock before close of business operations. BSP Financial Group Limited CEO Robin Fleming says the burning down of its Ranandi branch in Honiara, Solomon Islands last week is the first of its kind in the bank's history with its offshore branches in the Pacific. In an exclusive interview with EMTV News Today, CEO Fleming said all staff across its Honiara banking operations are safe and that the staff of Ranandi branch will be deployed to other branches in Honiara for work.
CEO Fleming said BSP's Ranandi branch in Honiara has 20 staff and they are all safe, along with other BSP staff operating in Honiara following violent protesting in the area in recent weeks.
In Honiara itself, we have 4 branches. We've got to have our Ranandi branch, which is really just on the outskirts of the Central Business District, and within the Central Business District we have our main branch at Heritage Park, which is our branch and head office. We have a branch at Honiara Central. We've also got a branch in the CBD called Point Cruz, and they're all within a pretty short distance of each other, probably around about 1 kilometre from one side to the other. And then Ranandi is on the way into town from the airport. Ranandi's the branch which had about 20 staff, and that was the branch which was destroyed by fire during the riots and civil commotion late last week.
A number of Papua New Guineans have been working at various BSP branches in Honiara, with the country manager, a Papua New Guinean who just started in her role there after going through 3 weeks of quarantine when the branch building got burnt down.
All of our staff are safe. Country manager Sandra Forrow, who is from Papua New Guinea. Sandra had arrived in Honiara best part of 6 weeks ago. She spent the first 3 weeks in quarantine as part of the COVID arrangements that Solomon Islands has in place for any international visitor, and she was into her second week when we had these riots. Therefore, she's safe. We also have another Papua New Guinean, Imelda, who's in charge of our BSP finance business in Solomon Islands. They're both safe, as are the staff. We have about 300 odd staff in Solomon Islands in total, the majority of whom are Solomon Islands. We also have a Fijian Indian who's one of our finance people.
Apart from its PNG operations, which have experienced some disruptions as a result of riots or protests over the bank's history, it is the first of such experiences for the bank in its offshore branch operations outside of PNG.
In PNG, as we know, going back 30 or 40 years, from time to time there can be disturbances which result in the business at large being affected. Around the Pacific, by and large, we haven't had these situations in any of the other countries we've operated until now. As we do know, up until a few years ago, there was a regional assistance force within Solomon Islands, Ramsey, which was there to provide law and order protection and uplift in the capability of the Solomon Islands police force.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
The PNG Trade Union Congress is concerned over the 2022 national budget, which was tabled last Thursday, asking the government to recall the budget, citing workers' concerns. In a media conference yesterday, PNG TUC executives said they are concerned as custodians of workers' rights, particularly regarding the government's new dominant player levy, which they say will affect BSP Financial Group Limited, a bank that has the super funds in the country as major shareholders.
To recall the budget, we know the budget the opposition has been given a couple of days to go through the budget and respond. With that in mind, we also call on the government to recall the budget and pass a supplementary budget excluding the bank and telecommunication levy, levies that has slot into the budget as one of the income revenue streams. Destructive pieces of legislation to raid workers' funds is nothing but actions of thieves. We are very concerned as custodians of workers' rights.
So we re-emphasize the call that the Treasurer and his advisor must go. As explained by the Acting General Secretary, the 190 million kina levy that is levied on BSP, that is said to be the dominant player levy, meaning because BSP is the dominant player in banking industry, it has more than 50% stake or like its share of the market, it will be charged that fee. Now that fee alone is going to come out from BSP. What all of us must know is that our super funds own BSP. And so our super funds are going to now feel the pinch of that.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 $0.3823 Australian dollars, $0.4158 New Zealand dollars, and 31.42 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa lower, copper closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, palm oil closed lower, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. And that story ends Trukai Sports. The weather report is next. All the details when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow: southern region, Port Moresby, partly cloudy, then possible patchy rain with inland morning fog patches. Popondetta becoming cloudy with rain periods. Momase, Ley and Medang, cloudy periods with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Wewak and Vanimo, partly cloudy with few overnight showers. New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Kavieng, partly cloudy with brief showers. Buka, cloudy periods with brief showers possible. And the Highlands region, all centers partly cloudy with patchy rain, then morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Monday, 29th of November 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.